Hello everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to make a video, I suppose, to try and answer all these questions that I'm getting about people asking me, should I sell my alts and put it into Bitcoin? What should I do? Blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do at all. That's not the whole point of this. The idea is that I'm basically explaining the way that I interpret the charts and play this whole game of crypto. Okay, so just recently, today, and I suppose I'll bring it up. I've been bringing it up for a while now, really. I suppose it's the whole Bitcoin dominance chart. And when you look at something like that, it does give the whole idea that it's very black and white. It has to do one thing, and so if this goes up, it means all altcoins will lose, and if it goes down, it means that all altcoins will gain. But really, that's not what it is. It's a reflection of the market cap, and we've seen the Bitcoin dominance go all the way down to this level, and then it found a bounce. But that bounce was in the face of a crash. All right. What I'm trying to explain when I talk about this chart is that if we think about it in the simplest terms, which is a matter of support and resistance, we trade any chart based on support and resistance, all right? So if we're all the way down here and we're looking and thinking about this as a major support zone, and we are expecting, I suppose, even a bounce rather than a full reversal. I don't think we're going to get a full reversal up to this level. I think that's very unlikely. Probably might never even see that again, to be honest with you. But who knows? But I don't think it's going to be seen for a very long time. But it doesn't take much for this chart to move up, for the reflection of some altcoins to be, I suppose REKT, or at least underperform. All right. So by this going up doesn't necessarily mean that altcoins will lose money versus Tether. Or versus your dollar or your pound or your euro. That's not what it means. It could mean that, but that's not what it means. It just means that more money is going into Bitcoin than is going into alts in general. And we used to be able to play this in the past where we could easily hang on to alts in the past. We used to be able to hold on to our alts, and they would trend with Bitcoin, some more, some less, some just as much. But the thing that concerns me about the dramatic zone down here, the fact that this alt season had been so phenomenal and so long lasting, and dragged the dominance chart so far down. The thing that makes me, I suppose, feel like it's a more obvious trade to go into Bitcoin is because it's so oversold in a way. Not that the chart is oversold. It's not a chart that can be overbought or oversold, but it's a dramatic read, and something like this does have the potential to have a very large bounce, like it already has, but a continuation of that bounce. And just as last time we were playing this, we were expecting bounces to go back up. They never did. They continued to go down and continued to go down. Now, if you were around in September to January, you might remember that was when Bitcoin did its massive rally. So we're just going to have a look at a few charts now, put things into perspective of what could be the worst case scenario. And remember, this is the first time I remember it being so dramatic and so devastating for altcoins. But because it was, I suppose it was the first time I'd ever really seen it. And also it was the last time that Bitcoin trended up and altcoins went down versus their fiat base currency or Tether. I am on the back foot just in case that kind of thing happens again. Now, I'm not saying that it will, but I'm saying that I remember it. I remember it clearly. And basically, while Bitcoin went up, altcoins went down dramatically. So I'm just saying this chart doesn't represent the fact that will happen again, but it definitely did happen for these 3 months, and it was a devastating 3 months for altcoins. And so like I say, I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but it could, and if it did, it would be pretty nasty. So let's just have a look at what this is. So this is September, this is January. This is the Bitcoin chart. From September to January, we moved over a period of 128 days, 341%. So quite a big move, definitely, for Bitcoin specifically, because basically that's a big deal for Bitcoin, a very big deal. So that was September to January. So the 1st of September to the 10th, 9th or 10th of January. So, in contrast, let's just have a look at some alts. We'll look at the top cap ones and a couple of small cap ones. All right. So this first, we'll start with the top cap ones. So let's have a look at what happened between September and January for Chainlink. All right. So September, there we are. This is September, and where is January? January is here. So we can measure the low from around about the 1st of September. Where were we at the 1st of September? We were here, and you can already see that as Bitcoin was launching off, Chainlink was dying off. So we'll measure it from the bottom wick, from the bottom candle body, and where is the 1st of the 10th of September? It's here. So Chainlink throughout that period did move over the same period of time, but only gained 47%. It was only after that the Bitcoin dominance was rejected, and then at that point that's where we saw a bigger move of 200%, give or take. That's just Chainlink. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Again, we're going to look at the top cap ones first. So September the 1st. September the 1st. So a bit more devastating here for Ethereum. So this was September the 1st. Okay, so this is where we're measuring it from, and January the 10th is where we're taking it to. So actually it did have a little launch shortly after that. So actually that did work out pretty well. But if we think about it in terms of gaining, yeah, it did okay, but the larger moves were done in January, from January the 1st, and that is very much reminiscent of the way that this peaked, isn't it? If we think about this is the absolute peak of the Bitcoin dominance chart, and then we started to see the decline as alts were rallying. So that's good to see. But the vast majority of that move was done between this and here. The most amount of underperformance was done throughout this period while Bitcoin was rallying. So let's get back to some of these examples. Have a look at Litecoin, another nondescript but top cap altcoin. Let's have a look at how this one performed. So January the 1st. So we started January the 1st with a dive down. Again, remember, this is when Bitcoin started to rally. So altcoin here, Bitcoin was rallying. Altcoin, beforehand, it went down. It went down to 34%. So it's not a big deal. It's not a massive big deal. But let's have a look at where it rallied to. So where are we? January the 1st. Where's January the 10th? So January the 10th. Coming up around here. So actually this one did pretty well. Okay, so the top caps, especially Litecoin, which does like to trend with Bitcoin, did actually okay, but a large amount of underperformance while Bitcoin was rallying, and then at its peak, January the 10th, around these zones, that's when altcoins came onto it. So as you can see on these three examples for top cap altcoins, they weren't wrecked. They had just underperformed in comparison to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did 340%. Litecoin and Ethereum, I suppose, did, what was that, about 200 or thereabouts, and Chainlink did about 50, give or take. But then after that, all these altcoins went on to do big rallies, and in contrast, what we saw was actually Bitcoin going to a downtrend. So you can see, all right, that we use this Bitcoin dominance chart as support and resistance to get the best out of whatever it is that we're trading. All right, so to get the best out of it, not because you swap one for the other, because one will destroy the other, but because it generally represents a very, very oversimplified way of working out where is the best amount of money or the safest amount of money going to be. What from this level, and from this chart, what's going to happen. So the top cap coins, they didn't lose money, they just underperformed, and then they went on to have their rallies when the Bitcoin dominance chart came in to find a resistance, which was over here, and what a great resistance that was. So now let's have a look at the smaller cap coins. So we're going to start with Harmony 1. Let's have a look at Harmony 1. Again, because this is the thing that I'm trying to put across, that no altcoin is created equal. All right, no altcoin is created equal at all. So where were we? January. So September to January. So we started off here. September already started off again with most altcoins getting crippled. Right, so already down 70%. Double bottomed around 62%. Where's January? January is all the way over here. So I'm going to have to turn this onto a log scale. turn off the Bollinger Bands so we can see this for its true glory. So what I'm trying to say is that anything with a smaller market cap, if the market cap is getting drained and going into something else, then it can be pretty devastating. So we started off in September the 1st to January the 10th. So it's around about here. So it made a low of 63%. And even to that top wick there, we were still down 17%. And remember, this isn't the biggest loss you've ever seen in the world, but what I'm trying to point out is that throughout this period, while this small cap coin went through this entire 129 days worth of price action, Bitcoin had rallied by 340%, I forget how much, but 300 and something percent. Whereas Harmony One, had done the entire duration of that rally and still but at a negative. It was only shortly after that where the signals came in. The signals came in at that point, and from that point forward, it was around about here that we got the signal. But from thereabouts, we then did 3,842%. So you can see that in this instance, small cap coins were not the place to be. If anything, so far we can see so far that Bitcoin is the place to be. And remember, Bitcoin dominance was not as anywhere near as low as it is now. So this is where we are right now. This is where we were September, October. We were around about here, right? So September, October. This is the amount of the rally, right? It was a 26% move. Since if we were to move from the bottom wick to all the way to the top, that's an 85% move, right? So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you can just see, this is why I bring this up all the time, and also why there's no reason for anybody to just go and sell in altcoins and throwing it into Bitcoin. You can do that. All I'm saying is that no altcoin is created equal, and I'm trying to put this across. But what should be thought about is the market cap of the altcoin that you're in. So let's have a look at VeChain. We'll see how this worked. So where's September? Here we go. So September over here. September, that's 2019. What am I talking about? Where's September? Okay, so September is over here. So very much like all the others, I'm going to have to turn it onto the log scale, get rid of the Bollinger Bands again. But hopefully, I don't need to go through all of these, but there's only this and one more that I'm going to show. So where are we? September. So here we go. September is over here, September the 1st. So we'll measure it from the bottom just to be kind. Alright, so we did have a further retracement, 24%. Where were we in January? We were actually up. Okay, so VeChain, a definite good performer, but still, Bitcoin outperformed it. Bitcoin outperformed it by double, right? So Bitcoin did double the gains of VeChain, even though VeChain, it did actually do a decent move. So again, no altcoins created equal. Harmony One was REKT. These managed to persevere. Some did okay. Let's have a look at SXP, one last example. Okay, so where are we? September is actually all the way over here. So, I mean, you don't even need me to show you this, really. You can see, without even measuring it out, that it was getting wrecked, continued to get wrecked. Doesn't matter what Bitcoin was doing, Bitcoin was rallying, and it was only when the Bitcoin dominance flipped around January that an uptrend was able to be forged, and an uptrend is what became of it. So, again, it's a long story. We can go through many, many altcoins, and you will see, if you looked at them yourselves, that some will be better than others. But if we are looking at in terms of where my money is either safer, as in like, am I going to lose more money in this asset, or am I going to make more money in this asset, that when Bitcoin dominance reaches specific lows, it might be time to hedge. And by that I mean take some profit, put it into Bitcoin. you know, take some of your altcoins and put it into Bitcoin. This is what I have been doing. This is what I do every time we come to a resistance. I was doing it over here just in case. I said, okay, we're having a problem here at this support here. Let's hedge into some Bitcoin just in case. Most of the occasions when we touched this, it worked out really well. We were having really good bounces, and it was a really good trade. And actually, it became very obvious that we were getting rejected at this green 50 exponential. So we were able to hedge into Bitcoin, hedge into altcoins, hedge into Bitcoin, hedge into altcoins, hedge into Bitcoin, and then at that point there, it broke down. But then even here, I said, look, this is a significant resistance here, support here. We could bounce, hedge into Bitcoin. Look, it wasn't every single time we do it. It doesn't take much to recognize if it's going to keep going down, and if it does, then fine, you carry on with the alt parties. The altcoin parties was phenomenal, and like I say, we got into these altcoins around here, and we were in for the vast majority of the move, just hedging into Bitcoin just in case. Every time we come to a support, just in case. I've been saying it for a long time, and it has been a long time coming, and now it would appear that this could be the area that we do find that bounce from. And even when we do get the bounce, we'll probably be playing at a lower area of the range. You know, we're not going to be going all the way up here. You better hope we don't. If you're holding altcoins, you better hope that we don't. But there is always that potential. You just don't know how it's going to go. What if something phenomenal happens with the Bitcoin tomorrow and everybody wants it again? And everybody's seeing altcoins go down as Bitcoin goes up, which is what happened in September to January. That's what was generally happening. People clocked on to the fact that they were losing money or just not making enough money with their altcoins and went into Bitcoin. FOMO, basically. FOMO. To the point where Bitcoin dominance reached its absolute peak. And for those who paid attention, they made the ultimate switch into something that had gone up by 300% to something that had basically either stayed still or even gone down. And that's where the real money gets made. So, this is all I'm talking about. When I talk about this, I don't mean sell everything, go into Bitcoin. That's not what I'm doing. I hold quite a lot of altcoins, you know? I hold quite a lot of altcoins. But for me, in this moment now where Bitcoin is ranging, it's going up to 41, probably down to 33, and then, you know, thereabouts and all around. The only place that Bitcoin's not going to go is to the left. It's going to go all around this zone. This is where it's going to be going, probably for the next couple of months. It's going to be ranging around these zones. So even as high as potentially $50,000 to potentially as low as 28, or maybe even lower. Going to be ranging around here. Do you want to be in altcoins when it's Bitcoin that's dictating the overall direction of the market, especially if it goes down, and especially actually now that we've seen it for the first time in a while, that when Bitcoin goes up and it leaves altcoins behind, it's a very telltale sign that there has been a rotation, and the rotation has essentially gone back to square one, which is where Bitcoin is the main thing to be in. But again, I have to keep reiterating, I'm not telling anybody to sell anything. You guys are your own traders, you do your own thing. But for me, I like to hedge into Bitcoin when we come down to areas of support on the Bitcoin dominance chart, just in case. Because I do not want to be in a situation like some of my altcoins were around September. You know, which is why you should never be all in and never be all out. You should generally have a large portion of your portfolio in Bitcoin anyway. It is the big daddy, it is the governor of the market. So, you know, knowing that and understanding that, and especially having the Bitcoin dominance at this, you know, pretty low level. It's the lowest level it's been since 2018. And I don't know if anyone was around back then, but there was no, you didn't want to have any altcoins during this period. You can trust me. You did not want to have any altcoins in this period. This would have been horrendous. And look at where we bounced from back here. Okay, so this was devastating for alts. Some alts never recovered. I mean, literally never came back. They died. They're still dead now. It finished them off completely, and that's it. Over with. Absolutely gone. They're gone forever. They still exist, but nobody wants them. Nobody will want them. They're gone. So think about that. This is all I'm trying to say. We've had a look at some comparisons. So top caps did okay. They survived, right? But Bitcoin overperformed, outperformed all of the others. Small cap coins, some did okay, some didn't do very well at all, and some got wrecked. Now, that was only when Bitcoin dominance had the move from here to here. Now we're here, you can only imagine how devastating it would be for some of these altcoins, if not most of them, if we did do a full retracement, or even a retracement back up to this area here, between here and here, where would be a decent area to maybe hedge back into altcoins, depending on what their charts look like. Remember, we don't just play, you don't just buy altcoins blindly based on a chart like this, which is all-encompassing. We still would look at which altcoin to buy, depending on what that chart looks like. So you can see it's an oversimplified blanket way to look at the market and think about what is going to have the most relative strength. And at the moment, I would say that it was most likely to generally be Bitcoin as not the biggest, best performer of all time. Of course, there's going to be some altcoins that overperform and outperform Bitcoin, maybe to a factor of 1,000. It doesn't mean that by having a majority Bitcoin or a large Bitcoin balanced portfolio down at these levels is the wrong thing to do. Remember, I like to trade things based on safety. I'm a conservative trader. You know what I mean? I don't like having an enormous amount of risk. The entire market is completely overshadowed by an enormous risk factor. So why increase my risk any further? There's really no need. When altcoins want to be bought, they will tell us when they want to be bought, like they did over here. When Bitcoin wants to get bought, it will tell us it wants to get bought. And it's kind of showing signs of wanting to be bought down here. Again, we are still ranging with Bitcoin. It could break out, could break down, but largely I imagine it's just going to be a boring few months sideways. But based upon the Bitcoin dominance chart, it would suggest that if you do want to have skin in the game, you need to tread carefully when it comes to buying any altcoins. And I wish you the best of luck, because like I say, there will be some altcoins out there that outperform Bitcoin to a factor of 1,000. It's possible, and it's likely. There's always altcoins on massive rallies. But generally, as an overview, we've had a look at how it worked last time there was an increase in Bitcoin dominance, and it was pretty nasty. And all of those, if you looked at all of those charts with their Bitcoin pairings, you would see that they would have all been in downtrends. Even if the Tether pairings we looked at were pretty lame anyway, you can only imagine what the Bitcoin pairings looked like as the Satoshi charts were getting completely wrecked, because Bitcoin was outperforming them. So I've rambled long enough, and hopefully that will put an end to some of these questions. I'm never going to be able to tell you what to buy and what not to buy and when to buy. That's not my thing. But what I am trying to put across is that that chart in itself is very useful, even though it's a very a very oversimplified way of thinking about the market. But sometimes simple ways, simple methods are some of the best. And support and resistance are always going to be the best way to trade anything anyway. And this is just another way to think about support and resistance, but with the coin that you're trading. All right. But remember, last word on this: no altcoin is created equal. So for me to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart and say all altcoins are going to get wrecked that's a non-statement. It means nothing, because that's not going to be the case. But generally speaking, if you want to have a safe bet, safe ride, safer anyway, at this stage it's probably going to be in Bitcoin. And I know, as boring as that is, and some people call me a Bitcoin maxi. He's a Bitcoin maxi. Trust me, I'm really not a Bitcoin maximalist. That's not what I am. I just want to try and make as much money in the most stress-free way possible. And for me, it's about having a larger Bitcoin portfolio at this stage in the market, based upon the way that this chart has behaved in the past and the impact that it could potentially have, especially on smaller cap coins. And that is pretty much all I need to say on it. But thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day, and we'll see you on the live stream later, if you're a Patreon member, that is. And if you're not, you can sign up with the link below. £7.50 a month, 2 live streams a week. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy.